a little while since I've been here. I was sick. I had COVID, which was no fun at all, but I think I'm better now. And I just wanted to show this Jane Eyre journal that I made. It was in my Etsy shop and it did sell, but I did want to share it because I wanted a record of this journal just for my own edification, and also I just really love it. I love the cover. This is actually a cover from a book that I own, and I scanned the cover and I did build it up a little. I made this little plate. I just cut out this little square and raised it up, and I also embellished and raised up this little piece of the cover as well. It has this lovely old lace, and there's the back, and I do think it came out as a really nice reproduction cover. This is chocolate sari silk that's holding it tied shut. But the style of this journal is, it's one of my, I call them my keepsake pocket journals. It's not really a journal designed for, like, you know, writing daily, even though there are lots of places to write. But let's open it up and I'll show it to you. This paper that I've used is from 49 in Market, and it's called the, it's one of the botanicals, the Meadow Botanical, I think is what it's called. And if you hear chirping in the background, my fire alarm thing, my smoke detector has gone, it's gone on the fritz again. We can't get the stupid thing to work, so we're gonna take it out and get a new one. It has brand new batteries in it and it chirps in spite of that. But anyway, so here's a tag that I made using some vintage paper and this happens to be paper cameo paper, some really lovely paper cameo paper, one of her older botanicals. And here we turn the page and is another sort of a tuck spot with different, this is a swallow, and I just loved its backed with some vintage paper. And this is one of the very first digitals I've ever bought, and I've always just loved it so much. I've used it so much. And here is a parchment envelope that I made about 10 years ago that I'm finally relinquishing with some lovely old French hair pieces in it. But I do like to use birds, and this is actually from an edition of Jane Eyre. It says chapter 17. So I have used bits and pieces of old Jane Eyre editions. The paper throughout the pages, they are made with the Meadow Botanical, which I can't remember what, I'll put it below what it's called. I think they've discontinued it, unfortunately, but I think you can still get it. Here's a little envelope made from a scan from the McGuffey reader that I have that was my husband's grandmother's. And just here is just an old invoice which I've sort of reproduced and tried to make look old. I like to do that. That's a fun thing to do. And that just goes down into that tuck spot there. And here's one of the double pockets. So this pocket works like this. It goes all the way across, and there's places to put things here. For instance, you could stick something in there, and I've stuck something down in here. And here is a check that I folded and placed just some little tchotchkes in it, some old paper, a tag, and that's down in that pocket there. I do stuff the pockets, but my intention is really, I hope whoever uses this journal will put their own mementos and things into the pockets. Here's a little glassine envelope full of some embossed paper and just some little snippets of things just stuck down in there. Now here's like what I call a diagonal tuck spot. And here are words from the book, I am no bird and no net ensnares me, which I did love these lovely little birds, and just some little pieces of ephemera. This old lace belly band has in it a little writing notebook full of lined paper and other kinds of paper that can be used to write in. And here is a little envelope that has something in it. I can't remember what. But it has a little teeny bee, little tiny weeny thing that you could write a note on. And let me see if I can get it back on here. I did just tuck it on with this little paper clip, little tiny paper clip. See if I can do it again. There we go. And then here is a tuck spot that has a little tiny weeny old lace pocket with some Jane Eyre ephemera and another old invoice that can be used for journaling. And then this piece comes from, I actually think this comes from Curators Botanical, again, 49 and Market. And this is a piece of very old ribbon that is really, it falls apart really easily, and that's why I sort of bunch it up and make it into little ruffly things. This is the front piece of a book. It's not the book that's in the cover. It's another Jane Eyre that I have that's falling apart, but it's another place that can be journaled on. And then here's one of these pockets or envelopes that I was inspired. It's an Angie inspired envelope. I just love, and I used Sampool pale French green invoices to make it. And this little center section is not as big as the other two sections. I had to sort of cut it down because it had a serious gator mouth problem. So I just took out a whole section and made it smaller. And this is another picture. This is Charlotte Bronte from another edition of Jane Eyre that was falling apart pretty badly. And in this case, I took this envelope and it's actually a digital, and I reconstructed it so that the belly band, it's kind of neat, the pointy part of the envelope attaches to some lace, and it holds in this nice little notebook, little notepad. Here's a real pansy and just different bits of paper that can be written on. And I just think it turned into a really nice little tuck spot right there with that envelope folded backwards. And then the pocket of the envelope does have another piece from my McGuffey reader, the second reader, and just a little piece of watercolor paper. As you may or may not know, Jane Eyre in the book sketches. So she has a sketch pad. So I always like to include little sketch pad kind of papers. And here's just a pretty little thing that can be used. I think it's a pocket. Yeah, you could stick something down in there. And just a pretty little journaling card. Another pocket made with a bit of old lace, some coffee filter ruffle. Here is a really pretty net pocket with just a tad of old ephemera, a piece of an invoice that was really falling apart that I just sort of tore up into pieces. And here is a recipe that I thought sounded very Jane Eyre-y, blackberry custard tart. And you can write on the back of that. And then this really pretty scan of some lace. I think this comes from the Graphics Fairy. I love that scan. It's really pretty. Just sticks down there in that pocket like that. And here is a pocket full of Jane Eyre stuff. This is from a book that I have. It's a French edition of Jane Eyre. And here is from Jane Eyre, the drama. And Jane Eyre's been, I think, was made into a play pretty soon after it was written. It became a very popular play. Here's just a blue check. I'm pretty sure this is a Graphics Fairy scan as well. But all these things can be written on, and so when you go to journal in this journal, you're going to need to write on all of the different journaling opportunities. I love this butterfly from this paper set. I really love this paper set, and of course, 49 Market tends to discontinue all the ones I love best. I don't know why. Here's a tag that I made really long time ago, but I love it. It's from an old envelope, and this is just a collage piece of paper from at nighttime. Sometimes I sit and I take papers and I collage them just into my Sundance catalogs. That's sort of fun. And here is another one of my very first digital purchases. I just love it. And I think this comes from Ruby and Pearl. I just love that, the fancy ledger papers that she offers. Here's another one of the long envelopes that comes from Denise, and this one has another recipe in it, the blackberry orange mousse, which I also sort of sounded Jane Eyre to me, but I put this wax seal on there to be able to open it up. And this paper is actually a very last remnant that I had of a Stamperia, another kit that I just loved that they, of course, they discontinued. And it goes in here like this with the flap going down. And then you could place little things in here like that. That's another little pocket. Another little tuck spot with one of my mulberry flowers, a little bit of lace. And I just love this paper too. It's just so pretty. And one of my coffee stain tags, just lightly collaged with a stamp and some violet sticker. And then here is a pocket that has another one of my nighttime collaging things that I do on my lap, and a swallow card that's so pretty. And I've always used this little girl from Paper Whimsy. I've always thought she was like my little Jane Eyre in child form. And these are some old receipts. And then we come to the very end, and I've got a bag here. Now this stuff, I think it disconnects, yeah. It just is sort of like, it's all sort of stuck to, this is a pocket here. Here's a bit of Jane Eyre paper. I think I'm gonna do a little bit of repair to that. It's got a rip. So I'm gonna take some of this tape and put it there. And then there's a bag that you can fill up if you so choose. And here is just a back pocket full of Jane Eyre that you could cut out and put in places. Here's a really lovely little tag that you can play around with, as well as a little folder that you can fill up, and some old ledger, really old ledger. That's ancient old ledger. And just stuck back in this little belly band back here, like that. In fact, some of this could go into our bag very easily, like that. That's probably the better idea. Stick it in there. But there you go. That is this Jane Eyre journal that I just made. Excuse me. It is sold, but I love this cover so much. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna make another one. And I just needed to get back in the swing of things. I've been out of commission for quite a while. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you have a really good upcoming week. It's gonna be Memorial Day next weekend. So have a lovely Memorial Day for everybody who lives here in the US. Thank you.